It's CCSD Today, your insider's guide to the Charleston County School District. This week, we visit District 2 in Mount Pleasant. Hear our exclusive interview with retiring Principal Jane Davis. Then, we get a sneak peek at the brand new Carolina Park Elementary School. CCSD Today starts right now.
Hello everybody and welcome to a new edition of CCSD Today. I'm your host, Andy Pruitt. This episode is all about District 2. We're here at Mount Pleasant Academy, the longest continuing operating school in the state, because their principal, Jane Davis, is retiring after 29 years of service to this school and almost 5 decades in education. So we'll hear from her. We'll also hear from the new principal of the new school in Mount Pleasant, Carolina Park Elementary. That's Michael Antonelli. And we'll also look back at a very special visit for Lange Middle School of Science and Technology. State Superintendent Molly Spearman was here, and we'll look back at that visit when we come back on CCSD Today.
The law firm of Young Clement Rivers has been serving the Charleston Low Country since 1968. All of the lawyers of Young Clement Rivers are proud to be partners with the Charleston County School District. We're convinced that the hard work of the school district employees and staff prepares our young people to face the challenges of the future. We look forward to continuing our partnership and in helping the school district to meet its standard of excellence.
And welcome back inside the halls of Mount Pleasant Academy. I'm joined now by the longtime principal and outgoing principal here at Mount Pleasant Academy, Jane Davis. Jane, thanks for taking time to speak with us. You know, you have been here for a long time, and that's a good thing. And that's what we're celebrating with this interview. You told me 49 years in education, 29 years the principal here at Mount Pleasant Academy. When you hear those numbers, and I don't know if you like to reflect on them a whole lot or not, but does that ever kind of echo in your mind and kind of remind you you've done something special with your career?
It does. When I think about 49 years, I think whoever thought, myself included, that I would be doing this for 49 years. But I certainly will leave here and leave Charleston County School District and leave education feeling that I have made a difference and that I have done something for this community.
What kept you going so long? Obviously, I think a lot of people might step down out of education 30 years into it, maybe even less than that, but you stuck it out for almost 50 years. What kept you going? What kept you motivated?
I think what kept me going was teaching in different areas, different grade levels, different subjects, and once getting into administration was just very rewarding and very challenging, and it was a whole new way, a whole new part of education. And then when I finally got here 29 years ago, I loved it. I felt like I was making a difference. I felt like I worked well with the community. We have wonderful parents, wonderful kids. You're not going to find teachers any better than what we have here, and I've just become part of the family, and I look forward every day to coming to school, and then 29 years we're gone.
I'm just curious about what you learned along the way too, because education is such it changes over time, and the way you need to interact with your staff, the way you need to help students. What enabled you, because I think a key to longevity is being able to adapt. What were the things that you were able to adapt to or to understand and make changes so that you could still be relevant and that your approach would still work?
The first year that I was in administration, and I wasn't here, I worked at the district office downtown for a few years, and then I was at Jenny Moore. But during that time, the very first year was the first year of any type of accountability, any state testing. Before that, and the whole time I was teaching, we taught what we wanted to teach, whether the kids got it or not. It didn't, we didn't think about reteaching and teaching different styles of learning. It was just, you taught and you went home and you came back the next day and you taught again. So I've been through the whole phase, the whole world of accountability, from the PAC test is what we had first, which was a very, very simple, just recall type test, to where we are now with the SC Ready, which is a very, very high level, I think difficult, really high, calls for high expectations for children.
Going back to the community that you mentioned here at Mount Pleasant Academy, what stood out and what has stood out to you in your time here as far as your interaction with the school-based community? And when I say that, I refer to the people that work here and then the parents and the community members that are involved here at Mount Pleasant Academy.
What stands out, I think, is the level of support that I've gotten from most of them. And from the first year I was here, people coming to this school who certainly could have gone to private schools or picked where they wanted to go, who came in with the intent of supporting me and making our school better, and just a real support of public education.
Now, being a principal, you have a lot of interaction with your staff, but what about the interaction with the students? I mean, obviously that's why you get into education, is so that children have a better chance to succeed down the road based on what they learn in these walls, inside these walls. What about seeing these young kids come in and out? You know, they're here for 5, 6 years and they move on, and you're still here, but you've seen so many classes come through here. What are the memories that you're going to take from your experience with the children here?
The best thing of all about this job are the children, and first of all, I absolutely adore them. I love the hugs that I get, the notes that I get. When they ask me if I'm the president, I still kind of like that after all these years. But of course, more important, I like, and I'm so proud of them for how hard they work, how seriously they take school, how seriously they take the tests that we have to do, and how proud they are that Mount Pleasant Academy has become a very high-performing school, and the children know it and are proud and really work towards that.
And you know, you mentioned high-performing. I'm curious what level of pride you take in that, being the principal here for that long, and how much of it is about what the children have learned and what they've experienced versus the accomplishment, the recognition that comes from things like that?
That's sort of a hard one. Certainly, we think about what the children have learned and the high expectations we have here for them and that their parents have for them. But it's also real nice to look at the list of schools and see yourself up there, 1 or 2 in the whole state, and the fact that the parents are so excited about that, and the teachers are so proud, and we have become a culture of high student achievement. And I don't think you would talk to a teacher here who doesn't really believe in their heart that the most important thing is showing growth for each child.
And that's one of the things, maybe tying this last question, is when you give advice to administrators, I think administrators, principals would like to hear from somebody who's been in education for almost 50 years and at one school for 29. What are the keys to success for administrators at schools? What would you tell them? Look, this is what I've learned, this is what works, this is what to look for in your position.
I think the first thing that I would tell them, and what I feel is the most important, and it's really got nothing to do with education or the job, are your interpersonal skills and the way that you interact with your teachers and how you treat them. I don't think you can go into a school and assume the power role and make them do anything. I think that you have to work with them, become supportive of them, become professional friends with them, and then they buy into what we want the culture to be. What I guess I want it to be first, but they certainly have bought into it, and it is the culture of our school.
Well, Jane, I just want to congratulate you on all your success and your longevity and your service to the district. It's greatly appreciated, and thank you for taking time to speak with us.
Thank you.
And I didn't get to ask you, but I do want to throw this in. What are you planning on doing once you are done on June 30th?
Well, July the 1st, I'm going to sleep very late. The clock has been going off 5:15 or 5:30 for 49 years, I guess, because school starts early. So I'm going to sleep late. I'm going to be able to do some volunteer work, working with children who struggle with learning, and have a good time.
All right. Jane Davis, the outgoing principal here at Mount Pleasant Academy. We'll be right back with more on CCSD Today.
Kids learn it at their own pace, to remediate on their own, see their own results, celebrate their successes right there.
I think it's easier for me to do things like online, like it captures my attention better than like doing it in books.
It's just made it easy. It is. It's made it easy, and the kids like it.
There are a lot of pictures. Sometimes it can be really funny, and some stories are make-believe.
I would never have believed that we would be a school that would be fully, implementing technology in every classroom. So we did it, and it's due to McGraw-Hill.
And welcome back to CCSD Today. And now we are at the site of the future school here in Mount Pleasant, Carolina Park Elementary, and I'm joined by the principal at Carolina Park Elementary, Michael Antonelli. Michael, you're the principal here, but you're still working as principal at Laurel Hill Primary. We'll get to that in a little bit, but first I think a lot of people around the area are excited about this school coming online for next school year, but there's still a lot of physical work to be done. You're in constant communication with the individuals out here working. What are they telling you as far as where they're at right now? What are some of the big projects that they're accomplishing?
Right, great work going on inside and outside the building. We passed the 80% completion mark a few weeks ago, and it's just really exciting. I know people who drive by get to see the outside, but the inside's coming around as well. Paint is on the walls, all downstairs, cabinetry's going in, interior doors are going up, and from the outside, asphalt is getting ready to be poured, I'd say in the next week or so you'll see the parking lots coming in, curbing is in, a lot of the landscaping is progressing along, trees are being planted, and we're getting excited for August.
Now we can't get inside to the inside of the building today, but one of the cool features is the turf that'll be going down for the playground area and for the common area, correct?
Right, we'll have turf on both playgrounds, which will be on the back side of the school, and the common areas in the school are amazing. We're really excited about the opportunity to have parent volunteers and small collaborative groups of students working not only inside the classroom but outside in the commons areas, which are going to be very similar to what you'd see in a university or in a library.
So you bring 12 years of being a principal when it comes to experience here to Carolina Park, but you also have experience before being a principal in architecture. How has that helped in your interaction with the construction company and being out here and being involved in the construction here?
Well, I think the obvious, the main way is I understand the language and understand what's going on more so than had I not had that background. But just being able to read plans and understand timelines and just kind of visualize what is going to be and not just what we see right now. So, and that was a big help too when we opened Laurel Hill 12 years ago, was being able to see through the whole construction phase of that project as well.
And it's got to be exciting being the first principal at a new school. You kind of get to put in your vision, not so much maybe with the building, but how it's going to play in the community. How's that been going as you engage the community, how you inform them about what you envision Carolina Park Elementary being?
A great question, and I think the most important aspect of that is I'm a member of the community. I live a mile down the road from this school in the attendance zone, and that's been a big part of, I think, my success the last 15 to 16 years in Park West, as I've always been a stakeholder in the community, where I've lived in the community. My own children have come through the schools. So the communication's been easy and fluid. I know a lot of the stakeholders in the community. We've reached out through Facebook, and a lot of parents have already stepped up to take leadership roles. And my vision is what the parents in the community want for a school. That's going to be a school where kids want to come each day with high expectations, amazing programs, and one that involves parents in the community in all aspects.
And one of the important parts of this school will be the staff that you have. The great thing, from what you were telling me before we started, is that you're almost got the whole staff finalized.
Right. Yeah, we're only lacking 2 positions right now, and we expect to have those 2 positions filled in the next few weeks. And it's an amazing staff, just like we've had at Laurel Hill and at Pinckney. Some of those teachers are coming over, and we've also brought in some teachers from other schools and other areas, and we're really excited. We call it a family. It's going to be a great faculty, family, and we're very excited about, as I said, opening in August and getting in the building and getting to see the kids, and then all the fun happens.
How does the coordination with the staff that you're putting in place work? Because you don't really have the opportunity to be physically in the building to map things out. So how do those meetings work? How does that communication work? How does that planning work?
Yeah, a lot of that's just through technology right now, through emails, and Facebook communication, and face-to-face. So I've met with almost everybody who will be on the faculty face-to-face. We've had conversations. As questions come up, we're turning around and getting answers quickly. And if it's a question that we hadn't thought of, we're working to solve that issue. But we're very excited. It's been pretty seamless thus far. A lot of the faculty members are also kind of members of the community and stakeholders, so they're excited not only to be teaching here but to have their kids attending as well. So it's all coming together seamlessly, and I think a big part of that is just our communication through Facebook and email.
And the great thing for you, and I think for the community as far as what they can base things on, is they can see that you have a track record.
Sure.
You've been at Laurel Hill for quite a while. Can you kind of take us through some of the experiences you've picked up in your time at Laurel Hill and how you hope that prepares you for this new role and as far as how the experience carries over?
Yeah, absolutely. We opened Laurel Hill 11 and a half years ago, and it was a great experience much like this. We're kind of heavily focused on the construction end at first, but then once school day starts and the first day starts, we're focused on instruction, having high expectations, but also recognizing what best practices are in education. And that's something that has led us to our success at Laurel Hill, is not just teaching to the test, but knowing what best practices are for kids, how kids learn differently from each other, differentiating, and just really making sure that we're providing an education that's going to be successful for everyone.
Well, Michael, thanks for taking time out of your busy day as being still principal at Laurel Hill to be with us out here. It's a little warm, but we're looking forward to a great opening day here in August. Again,
Yep.
Michael, thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back with more on CCSD Today.
Kiowa Cares represents a really unique way and an organized way for folks who live here on Kiowa to connect, partner, and help those who live in our neighborhood, which includes Johns and Wablo Island.
And the idea was that many, many people who live on Kiowa very generously work as individuals in the community. But we felt as a community association we needed to do more in a unified way to be good neighbors. And out of that came the idea of Kiowa Cares.
They brought volunteers, but most of all, they brought love. They showed love and they said, we want to be a good neighbor, and they have been a good neighbor to me and to this community.
Kiowa Cares quickly jumped on board and was really excited about the idea of supporting the local farmers and supporting the Johns Island community as well.
We're excited about the partnership, and we are in constant communication, updating them on things that we are working on, areas where I continue to see improvement. I share with them, and so it's like we are in tune, working together, one common goal, and it's all beginning to come together.
What it means to me to be a part of Kiowa Cares is I'm able to do things I wouldn't normally have done on my own. I get the sense of community when I work with them.
We're trying to put good people in touch with organizations that could use their help.
And welcome back to CCSD Today. We are now here at Lange Middle School of Science and Technology to recap a very special visit for the school. Earlier this month, the State Superintendent, Molly Spearman, visited and got a chance to see firsthand at why this is the top STEM middle school in the nation.
Nice to see you. Congratulations on this beautiful school and all the recognition.
A big day for a school accomplishing big things. State Superintendent Molly Spearman's visit to Lange Middle School of Science and Technology this week was important to the staff and students, but equally as important to Superintendent Spearman. It was a way to honor Lange's title as this year's National STEM Middle School of the Year, according to the Future of Education Technology Conference.
It just affirms that we have great things going on in schools across South Carolina. Certainly Lange is one of the leaders.
There definitely was a sense of anticipation and excitement when all the students showed up to school this morning.
For both students and teachers, I saw tremendous affirmation of their hard work, of the kind of learning strategies that create the sort of products that students were able to share today. Great pride and appreciation.
Spearman, along with our district superintendent, Jarita Postlethwaite, toured the halls of Lange and got to see what and how students use science, technology, engineering, and math in all of their subjects, and the joy that approach creates in learning.
To see students really wanting to be here and knowing that every day that they're going to be engaged and having great activities where they're learning, that's what I hoped to see, and I definitely saw it here.
Whether the problem is writing an essay or dissecting a frog or analyzing what 16th century explorers did, we can apply the engineering design process as a way to approach that issue.
Principal Jay Whitehair and the school's STEM coach Dr. Mel Goodwin both agreed that this experience should let the students know what they are doing is special, and they should be proud of the recognition they've received so far.
When the superintendent, or honestly anyone who's important from outside, shows an interest in what the students are doing, it's hugely validating. Middle school students are at the age where they're sort of wondering where they fit and how they fit and what's going to happen to them. And the more we can give them experiences that build confidence, in which they are acknowledged by adults as having some value and having done something interesting, the better it is for those students.
They want to be able to share that. So it's just being able to validate their work in front of the superintendent. They understand that there is a superintendent and how important that is for that individual to come to their school and visit with them.
As you can see, Lange Middle School proudly displays its accomplishment on a banner out here in front of the school, but it's more than just a title on a sign or a piece of paper. It matters to the students, the teachers, and the administrators inside the classroom. It's motivating them to improve on what they've already accomplished and to possibly serve as a model for other schools in our district and beyond.
You know, once you're at number one, there's not much headroom. So the question is, where do we go from here? And what we think we want to do now is to be the catalyst that maybe produces a dozen other number one schools over the next 5 years.
We're going to take advantage of it. I mean, how many times are we going to be number one in the nation? And this is a time to celebrate. It's a time to celebrate for ultimately our teachers and the work that they've done, the tireless work that they've done, our students, and just the overall community of the parents, local businesses, and the community of Mount Pleasant and Charleston County School District.
I think anytime one of our schools is recognized nationally, it benefits the entire community. One can hardly describe this sense of pride, of accomplishment, of esteem, of respect that you hold for a school that garners that sort of recognition nationally.
Going back to the visit, this will be a day the Lange Middle School community remembers for a while. It will be a day Superintendent Spearman smiles about as well.
We have a hard time getting girls involved in engineering jobs and mathematics, but these middle school girls outnumbered the boys really in the projects that I saw. So nothing to shun on the young men, but I'm so proud that the young women here at this school are so involved in mathematics and science. I mean, you're very fortunate to have this beautiful facility that was really built for this type of collaborative teaching and student engagement, but this can happen anywhere with paper plates in an old building.
We never really know from day to day exactly what's going to happen, but we do know that the more we put these tools in the hands of our students and teachers, the more amazing the results are.
For CCSD Today, I'm Andy Pruitt. We'll be right back to close out the show after this final timeout.
Some problems are tough. Reaching your customers shouldn't be. Blue Wave and Comcast have the creative edge to make you stand out from the crowd and connect with your customers. Whether you need a commercial for television, video for your website, or a custom-made website, we are the easy solution for every advertising problem.
So that'll wrap it up for this edition, highlighting some of the great things that are happening in District 2. Of course, we want to thank everyone who made this episode possible. Jane Davis at Mount Pleasant Academy, we wish you well in your retirement. To Michael Antonelli at Laurel Hill Primary, getting ready to go to Carolina Park Elementary, and to all those who made the visit for the state superintendent possible here at Lange Middle School of Science and Technology. I'm your host, Andy Pruitt. Thank you for watching CCSD Today. We'll see you next time.